Okay, okay. Does anybody have an answer? If so, you can just drop it in the chat, but we're gonna get started. So it says a rectangle has length 9 plus 5 root 3 and an area of 15 plus 7 root 3 centimeters squared. And we need to find the width of the rectangle, given your answer in the form m plus n root 3, where m and n are integers. So for me, whenever I'm doing questions, especially when it comes to A-level maths, I like to visualize it. So they've told us that we've got a rectangle here. So what I would do is I would just draw a rectangle here. They've told us that it has a length of 9 plus 5 root 3, and the area, right, is equal to 15 plus 7 root 3. Yeah. Now they've asked us for the width in this form. So we've got the area, we've got the length, right? We know that to find the area of a rectangle is length times width. So are we in agreement, guys, to say, well, I've got 15 plus 7 root 3 for the area, replacing it. L is 9 plus 5 root 3, right? And then we need to times this by the width. Are we okay with that? Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. And then I'm just checking the answers. Okay, I can see a couple of close answers. Anyways, continuing. Now, because we want to find the width, right? The width, right, is this thing here. How do I get this thing? Well, I just need to divide by this thing, don't I? So we can say that the width for sure is the W is 15 plus 7 root 3 divided by 9 plus 5 root 3. Yeah? Now, this is the width. This is the answer. However, the question asks us to give it in a specific format. So this is what we're right. We know that this is for certain 100% correct. However, it's not in the format that they want it in. So can somebody tell me what we need to do? Uh, Now, what do we need to do next? We've got a fraction here, and the form that they want it in is not a fraction. So what do we need to do? Exactly. Thank you very much. So we need to rationalize this fraction here, don't we? We need to rationalize our denominator. Now, whenever we're rationalizing a denominator such as this one, right? There's a number plus a third term next to it. Can anybody remind me what we need to multiply by top and bottom in this case? Exactly. Thank you very much, Anaya. We multiply by the conjugate or the opposite sign, right? This is a plus here, so we just change it. 5 root 3 here, 9 and a 5 root 3 here. And we're just going to put minuses here. How many of us got to this step? Let me know in the chat. How many of us got to this step? Okay, fair enough. I can see a couple of people did well done, Shay. Well done, Sean. For those of us that did not get to this step, does this make sense now? Is this clear? We happy for me to continue? Yeah? Okay, good stuff. Now, continuing, all we need to do now is just multiply top and bottom, don't we? So let's multiply the top first, multiply the bottom after. Yeah? Now, there's a lot going on here, so you got to be very careful. We've got 15 times 9, right? This is just 135, I believe. 15 times 10 is 150. Take away 15. Yeah, 135. That's fine. And then we've got 15 times minus 5 root 3. So remember when you're dealing with surds, whenever you multiply them, you multiply the number part, right? The 15 and the 5, and then you just put the surd after. So 15 times 5 is 75. So we're going to put 75 and we're going to put the root 3 here. And then this one here, we've got 7 root 3 times 9. 7 times 9 is 63. So we're going to have a plus 63, and then we're going to have root 3 here. And then this one, at the end, let me just extend this a bit. Now, for me, whenever I'm doing this, I always break it down. So I've got 7 root 3, right? Multiplied by 5 root 3, or minus 5 root 3, I should say. Sorry, there's a negative sign, isn't there? Negative 5 root 3. Yeah? Always be safe. Now, whenever you're working this out, well, okay, let's do the numbers part. When I say numbers, the ones without the surds, because they're technically all numbers. But 7 times minus 5, this is just going to be minus 35, right? I'll put that in green. And then we've got root 3 times root 3. Can somebody remember what that is very quickly? Right. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you very much, Fiona. It's 3, isn't it? Right? So therefore, we've got 3 here. And then I need to put multiplication sign to be fair. So therefore, we're just doing 35 times 3 or minus 35 times 3, which is just going to be minus 105. So therefore, we've got this minus 105. And this is our numerator done. We all okay with this so far? Anybody have any questions? Gonna give a couple of just for anybody to say yes or no, so I know that we're all okay. Yeah, good stuff. Cool. So continuing. It's okay, but I've never seen it before. Okay. Okay. So you haven't seen it before. Okay, fair enough, no problem. Okay, so let's just continue and then we'll go to the after. Now, the bottom, right? We've got 9 plus 5 root 3 and then 9 minus 5 root 3. Let's do this one now. We've got 9 times 9 is 81. Then we've got 9 multiplied by minus 5 root 3. Remember what you do when you multiply? You just do the number part. So 9 and the minus 5, times them together, that will give me minus 45. And then we just put the root 3 there. And then it's going to be 5 root 3 times 9. That's just the same thing, but positive. So 45 root 3. And then we're going to have 5 root 3 times minus 5 root 3. So I've got 5 root 3 here times by minus 5 root 3. I'm just going to check the chat quickly. Okay, cool. So now, doing this again, remember, break it down. We've got the 5 and the minus 5. This is just going to be minus 25. And then we've got the root 3 and the root 3. That's going to be 3. So we're doing minus 25 times 3. This is just going to be minus 75, isn't it? So we're going to have minus 75 here. So can you see now we've successfully expanded the numerator and the denominator. Now it's just left to us to simplify. We all okay with this so far, guys? Yeah, I can see some of us haven't seen this before, so which is understandable. Maybe the specification is different, but just let me know if anything is confusing or tricky. Okay, now continuing. All right, so now let's do the numerator. We've got 135, right? 135 minus 105. That's just 20, right? Oh, no, sorry, that's 30. Apologies. That's 30. And then we've got minus 75. We've got minus 75 root 3 plus 63 root 3. Can somebody tell me what that simplifies to become? Minus 75 root 3 plus 63 root 3. What is that? What do we think? Think of the root 3 as x. Minus 75x plus 63x. Right. Thank you very much, Fiona. It's just going to be minus 12 root 3, isn't it? Minus 12 root 3. And then let's do the bottom now. Well, this is easy. We've got 81 minus 75. That's just 6. And then can somebody tell me what happens to these two? What happens to these two? Right, exactly. All careful. So yeah, they cancel out. But remember, somebody just put just root 3. Remember, we've got minus 45 root 3, right? Plus that same thing. So remember, minus 10 plus 10 is 0. Minus 1 plus 1 is 0. Minus x plus anything else is 0. If you minus something and add it to itself, it's going to cancel out. Does that make sense for anybody that maybe thought something else? This cancels out. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah. Now we're here. Remember the question. We need it in this format. M plus n root 3. Now it's a lot simpler, but it's still a fraction though. What do we do? Well, what we can do, you can do this in a couple of ways. You can either split this into two separate fractions. You can write 30 over 6 minus 12 root 3 over 6, right? Simplify that way. And this will give you 30 divided by 6 is 5, right? And then 12 divided by 6 is a 2. So this becomes 5 minus 2 root 3. This is our final answer. Anybody get this correct? And for those of us that maybe didn't get quite here, does this make sense? Is this clear? Anybody get really close? Yeah, got close. Cool, cool, cool. And the other way I was going to say as well that you could have done from here, right, is instead of splitting the fraction, what you could have done is you could have said, well, okay, if I look at this fraction here entirely, I've got 30 here, I've got 12, I've got 6. I can see a factor of 6 everywhere. So you could have just done this as well. Take it out, factor it out the top here to, sorry, that would be like this here. And then, yeah, no, that's fine actually, root 3 here. And then divided by, and then 6, and then factor out a 1. And then these cancel, don't they? This here cancels with that. You're left with 5 minus 2 root 3 over 1, which is the same as 5 minus 2 root 3. Does that make sense, guys? I think I messed up on the multiplication. Yeah, you've got to be very, very careful, especially when you're dealing with surds. Yeah, especially what you guys know from GCSE anyway. It's very, very tricky. Yeah, cool. So that one's fine. Well, an hour goes by so quick. I had so many questions to do. Can you not just straight divide by 6? You can. You can. The reason, so Fiona asked a good question. Can you not just straight divide by 6? You can, but the reason why I say not to do that sometimes, so for example, we've got this here. You could definitely divide every single term by 6 to give us 5 minus 2 root 3 over 1. That's perfectly fine. Sometimes what students do is, for example, let me think of an example. They could say, let's say I have, I don't know, trying to think of an example. Let's say I had 10 plus, let's say I had 10 plus, I don't know, 5 root 3 divided by, a 9 or something. Yeah. They could say, well, or no, this is what they would do. I know exactly what to do. They will say this here. I put a 5 here and I put a 9, right? They could say, well, this is just going to be divide. This is going to be 2 on the top, and then they may leave that there and then put a 1 here, and they forget that this is not a common factor. That's why I don't really suggest dividing, but you can do it that way. But just remember, you only divide when you see a common factor in every single term and on the bottom. I would just say factorize, yeah? Just to be safe, yeah? Cool.